Okay, everybody, today is Wednesday,
Boop.
September 6th, 2017. You are watching MMAjunkie Radio. I am not Sub-Zero or Scorpion. I'm Goz. That's Dan Tom over there to the left. You can't really see him, but trust me, he's there. And he is the reason I'm wearing my Sub-Zero mask today. For fun. I'm going to take it off as soon as the show starts. Gorgeous George is outside the studio right now. He'll be coming in. And then we'll be getting our show underway. We'll have Charles Rosa on the show today. And we will also be joined by Luke Rockhold. We tried to reschedule some of the guys yesterday. It just didn't work out. And, of course, we have our vacation coming up and our trip to Virginia. So we'll just have to get back to them another time. Or who knows, maybe we'll pull one of them out in the middle. But we'll see. We ask that you bear with us. You know, the cool thing about having the mask on is if there's problems with the audio syncing to our mouths, we don't have to worry about it because he can't see our mouths. I look like Dr. Dre right now.
I don't know if you look like Dr. Dre. You look like a doctor.
Maybe not Dre.
Maybe not Dr. Dre.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Goz.
Dr. Goz.
If you could be any Mortal Kombat character, who would you be?
Just in the fighting realm or in general? Because like Baraka is awesome, and I'd love to be able to shoot out blades like that. But at the same time, I'm not trying to walk through Target as Baraka. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think Scorpion would be the easiest because he can just grab stuff real far away. You know? Yeah,
but again, I'm always gonna have to wear the mask. So that's what I'm saying. In the fighting world, I would be someone else, but if I have to be that person all the time, then yeah, I'm going to be Johnny Cage. I could still fight and walk around and look like a human. So which one is it? Is it both, or is there separate?
I mean both. Like in general, you are that character for everything.
So then, yeah, I'm going to be Johnny Cage because I want to still look good and walk around, but still be able to kick people's asses.
Right.
It's a good choice, right? When you think about it.
It's not a bad choice. I didn't think there was a bad choice.
If it's a split, which is what I think you just want to know, like what badass I want to be, then I would maybe be Reptile.
You wouldn't be like Sub-Zero. You freeze anything you want.
Yeah, maybe I didn't think that out.
So what are you, a nurse, a reptile? What are you? What the fuck is going on here?
Dan caught a bug. And a lot of people have caught this bug, and it really scared me, so I'm going to make sure I wear my mask here. Or right now I'm going to take it off, but when I get on the plane...
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goz.
Yeah.
This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All
like
night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
Joking?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goz.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goz. Our ace co-host, back east, handling all the producing duties, it's Danny Otto. And, of course, Dan Tom, the newest member of the team, hovering around the studio. You'll probably see him on camera at some point if he doesn't die. What's up?
I'm sad. I'm scared. I'm excited. I have a lot of emotions going through my body.
Sad? Why sad?
Well, I had to say goodbye to. Well, I had to take my Jack Russell Terrier to be boarded.
Oh.
And every time that happens, it's him wanting to go with me versus going with the vet.
Right.
And so it's always sad to see him go. You know, he kind of hangs out in solitary.
Was it like,
but I guess,
hey, don't go, don't leave me? Or was it like, motherfucker, why'd you drop me off here? You know I hate it here.
Might be motherfucker the way he was going.
Really?
But the doc says that he actually has fun. It's really funny. Our dog, we talk a lot about him, and sometimes you guys may think that we overdo it, but we really don't. He actually has like a really funny personality, and every veterinarian that we've ever taken him to, he always just shines there. So at his skin doctor, one time I came to pick, where would this go off? Came to pick him up, and he was actually sitting at the front desk like a human on the stool. And they just said that he loves being with people, so they put him there. And then when we go drop him off at the other vet for boarding, he's the only dog that doesn't sit in the cage. Like, he gets to run around and kind of watch over all the other dogs. He actually has a personality, so he's really funny. So I was sad to see him go. Excited because we have this big trip that we're taking to Norfolk, Virginia.
Right.
Langley Eustis. And then scared because Dan Tom's a little sick here, and he almost wasn't able to come in today. May have actually missed the trip. So I'm afraid to catch whatever he's got.
Oh, it's to that point?
Yeah, because then I posted...
Dan, we don't leave till 2:30. Why don't you send him home?
Because I'm afraid to touch all the stuff that he's touched. That's the thing.
Okay.
So he's just kind of sitting there, and then he's just going to touch that, but he's not going to get on the mic or anything like that.
Right.
And he feels like the worst part's over. From what I hear, it's like a 24-hour to 48-hour bug.
Right.
But when I posted this little Instagram with this mask, then a lot of people were going, I had that too. It sucked. And so it's one of those
Who
things
has it?
Christina Baruman had it. I think Alton says he knows somebody that had it, and Rodney had it. So a few people have had it, and it's kind of scaring me, so I don't want to get it. But Megan O'Leary told us last time, anytime you travel over an hour, wear the mask. So I think I'm going to be Sub-Zero on the plane today.
All right.
Which I think that's how
I definitely hope I don't jinx myself. I'll give it a shot just because I think it would be funny more than anything. But I just think that stuff's... Well, then again, I was miserable in Japan.
Yeah, because it is a small area, and you're with a lot of people.
I remember a lot of people coughing. Yeah, you're in a little certain area. It's too bad you can't bring, like... Isn't there Lysol that kills 99.9% of the germs or something like that? Just spray it around you when you sit down and hand it back to the stewardess. Hey, look, I'm not trying to light this plane on fire, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad.
All right. It's the last show of the week.
The toilet, right? You should get that.
Yeah, really. It's the last show of the week. We will be off tomorrow and Friday. We visit JBLE, which stands for Joint Base Langley Eustis in the state of Virginia. An Army base and air base are about 15 minutes apart, so that's why they call it a joint base. We'll be at both bases on Thursday and Friday, culminating with a pay-per-view viewing party of UFC 215, which is headlined by Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Borg. The following week, and 3 days of the following week after that, we will be on vacation, returning on September 21st. There will be a lot of best-ofs, MMA Junkie Radio episodes, and a couple of replays from some recent shows. Today we have Luke Rockhold on the show, and we're also going to talk to Charles Rosa. Rosa flies to Japan soon to compete there at UFC Fight Night 116. 116. Yeah, 116. There's so many of them, dude.
It might be 17.
Is it 17? Oh, I may have screwed up the damn preview.
Hold on.
I'm pretty sure I checked it when I was doing the preview.
On your preview it says 117.
Okay, that's accurate, because I check everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but he leaves during the time we're on vacation, so I wanted to catch up with him. We'll catch up with him in the first hour of the show, and then Luke Rockhold will begin the second hour of the show with us. There's plenty of chances for you to call in and participate in the show, 866-522-2846. Not only you can call in and ask a question or have a comment, you know, some sort of a discussion with Goz and I, but at the same time, we still have a few spaces to fill here with our glove that we're giving away. It's signed by Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. They compete on September 16th for the middleweight title. Now, Gennady owns 4 titles, WBC, WBA, IBF, and I believe IBO, and I think the Ring Magazine belt is held by Alvarez. Once these guys get belts, I think at some point, hey, it's cool to have, but they just want to. I think money fights is kind of like the theme in boxing a little bit.
Yeah.
With the exception of heavyweight, it's like, oh, I want to be the man. But yeah, working with sanctioning bodies, it's a big deal, and it's a big frustration for many. But basically, they're unifying most of those titles, so it's a big middleweight title fight. Why it's not a defense on either part, it's because they're both champions, but Gennady does hold most of them. So it'll be disputed at 160 pounds in boxing. That's the middleweight division. At 154, which is the one below, that's super welterweight. That's where Conor and Floyd were about a week ago.
It's so weird.
I know, yeah, to say Conor.
Yeah.
And by the way, Chasm from Toronto told me, you missed it, man. In the 9th round, Floyd was hurt. The referee helped him out. And I respect Chasm. Sometimes he flies off the handle. There's times where I just go, shut up. But there's other times where if he makes a point like that with specifics, I'll go back. And I taped it. I watched the fight. So I didn't watch the fight for the 5th time, but I did watch that round, and I watched the sequence. It's early in the 9th. Conor hits him with a straight left that gets through, but I don't think it was anything that like hurt Floyd. I think it was just a reminder of, hey, I have power, and I just sat on a stool for a minute, so I recharged a little bit. He didn't have first-round power or second-round power, but still, Conor throws hard. I respect that. I'm sure Floyd did. He hit him. Floyd had basically cover up, so I think he basically deflected a little bit of it, but still, there was a punch. But he then threw a body punch, all right?
Conor?
Conor did, with his right hand. All right? He's straight left, right hand body punch, because remember, he's a southpaw. When he did goes, Floyd, if you'll recall, did kind of like wince. Like we see a lot of MMA athletes.
Calling it. We said that.
Right. He did wince and then actually go and start to turn around. He even kind of waved as if to say, hang on a second.
Like a
right?
low blow?
It was a low blow. I mean, I stopped and watched it. It was to the side, but still to the point. It was way below the belt. And Floyd's reaction wasn't one of like when someone gets hit in the liver. It was immediately like, hey, look, most of the world just saw this. Hang on a second, you know. But, of course, Conor comes in until the ref tells him to stop. And then he wound up in that reach-around position, and the referee wound up interjecting anyway. Floyd was able to shake it off, but I didn't see, like, pain that was brought to him because of a punch. Regardless, so Chasm, I did go back and look, and I disagree. Simple as that.
I was going to bring up to you.
I knew every fucking day for the next, probably till December 31st, there'll be Maymac talk one time on the show.
Well, yesterday we almost did it.
Really?
We almost made it.
Perfect game?
We just talked a little bit about it.
Right.
And I was going to tell you that at the beginning of the show, but then I figured I might jinx it. But yeah, we didn't even make it too far. I was going to ask you. Now I guess I got to ask you, like, how long do you think it'll be before we can
well, once we announce it, of course, there could always be that 9th run phone call that comes in and ruins it. But, you know, if we get through it, we get through it. If not, whatever. And I don't mind talking about it. It was really, for some people, they called it a circus. They called it silly. But you also have to say it was historic. What happened that night was historic, to have one of the top fighters in mixed martial arts come over and fight one of the top boxers now ever on both sides, you know, in the same division, and they both happen to be polarizing athletes who can talk trash and sell an event, and they did, you know. Whether you believe the Dana White numbers or the Showtime numbers, it's still probably a record-breaking pay-per-view. Incredible traffic was done on our site.
Though. Did you see that?
Was it second at the gate?
Yeah,
they
didn't pass Manny and Floyd.
All right, so still pretty amazing, because at the end of the day, it was a superior boxer versus someone who had never boxed, but they convinced us there was a reason to watch, because, you know, Homeboy's done so much in this sport. You never know. He's got a strong left, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but, yeah. That's it. That's it. I mean, really, there's no more to say. I think we've covered it all. So let's turn the page. Let's take this commercial. When we come back, we'll talk to Charles Rosa, and then, of course, we'll take your calls. Come on, man. We really want to give out this glove to a junkie who calls in and participates on the show, not just those guys that are coasting through on social media. I prefer the calls. All right, we'll be right back.
No glove.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
The NFL season kicks off tomorrow as the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots host the Kansas City Chiefs. NFL Radio takes you live to Foxborough for pregame coverage starting at 7 with Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin on Moving the Chains. Then hear the national broadcast followed by complete postgame reaction from the stadium. It's all on NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the SiriusXM app. That same app houses the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Check it out. Just minutes, sometimes hours after the show. Our producer does his job right after the show, but sometimes the way it cycles in, I guess it can be an hour or two after the show that it's there, but it's ready for download in HD quality and commercial free. Please check it out. A lot of the shows on our channel are available there as well, including the Luke Thomas Show, Busted Open, At the Fights. It's an awesome channel. Why you're not on it all day, I don't know. Let's go to Charles Rosa, who will be fighting on September 22nd. It'll be the 23rd in Japan. It'll be 22nd here, so I'm quoting you the day here for the North American audience that's listening on SiriusXM. Charles Rosa will be heading to the land of the rising sun there to duke it out versus Mizuto Hirota. Mizuto Hirota is 18-8-2. Charles Rosa is 11-3. Charles Rosa joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. Hello, Charles. How you doing?
Great, man. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Great catching up with you. We always seem to have good chats with you, man. So thanks for doing the show.
For sure, man.
Yep. When do you head to Japan?
I leave September 16th, so I leave a week before the fight. So, I mean, the only real thing is just the time difference. But, I mean, I'm a pretty good sleeper. I sleep good on planes. I travel a lot. I've been to Thailand, been, to Europe, and, pretty much all over the place. So, and I've really never had too much of a problem traveling. So, I mean, it shouldn't be an issue. But I'm just leaving a couple extra days early just to adjust a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. This is one of those cities and countries that's kind of like a must-do for athletes, in my opinion, if you're involved in combat sports. Like, I would imagine because of the history of Brazil, fighting in Rio de Janeiro must be special. The traditional history of martial arts in the Far East, fighting in Japan must be pretty special. Vegas, of course, is the fight capital of the world. Does it mean anything to you, Charles, or is it just one of those things where it's my job and I just got to show up and fight?
No, absolutely, man. I mean, this is this is for real a dream of mine. And, I mean, it's definitely kind of on my bucket list ever since I started fighting or getting into it. Even as a kid, watching like Bloodsport and all those cool movies, watching Pride as a little kid. It was always like my dream to like go to China or Japan or one of those like Far East countries and fight and represent my country, and like to be able to do this is truly a dream come true. I'm really looking forward to it. And, I love traveling, and I love fighting, and I love food. So, I heard they got all three things there. So, I'm looking forward to heading out there and getting the win.
What is your favorite martial arts movie, by the way?
I would have to say Bloodsport. Bloodsport, Lionheart, like all those Van Damme ones. But, yeah, Bloodsport's number one. I must have watched it 1,000 times as a little kid. And, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I really, watching that movie kind of like, I would watch that movie and be like, I want to be that, I want to be a fighter. I want to go travel, and do tournaments all over the world. And it's pretty cool that, pretty much living my dream now. I've watched that movie probably the most out of any movie I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, I have to say Bloodsport. Are you a fan of the Seagal movies, the Karate Kid movies, or is that just too North America for you? Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I actually just watched the Karate Kid the other night when he was in Japan, so I just, I like the Karate Kid movies. I mean, those are the type of movies, anytime they're on TV, like, I don't care what else is on, and, unless it's the Patriots football game or something, I switch the channel. I always put the Karate Kid on. If I see it on TV, watch it. It's just, those are the type of movies I just, I really enjoy them. They're simple movies. They're, what I love to watch. It's, it kind of calms me. It's easy to watch, and, it teaches a little bit of discipline and cool things like that. And you always get little lessons and things from the movies, and I can actually translate them into fighting and stuff like that. So definitely like the Karate Kid, Van Damme. I don't watch much Steven Seagal, but definitely Van Damme and Mr. Miyagi's a man too. Yeah, I still think that Chosen was a punk, man. For him to not go out there and save his uncle just because of,
all respect to a monsoon, a hurricane, a tropical storm, whatever it was, he didn't have to go that far, and it was his uncle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess that's part of the movie, but Chosen punked out right there for as tough as he was throughout the whole movie, the honor, the this or that, and you know, I have a few problems with that movie, man. There's just a few items. How does Miyagi just let that guy go to the death, his student?
I know,
to the death. All he had to do, I mean, I know he broke the bridge, but how deep was it in there? It's not like there was gators around the moat or nothing like that. Cross over and jump the guy.
He already lost his street cred when he left the first time. He's not going to ruin his reputation anymore, right?
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Don't get me going. Charles Rosa, our guest here on the MMA Junkie Radio Show. All right, Goes, what do you have for
Well,
me?
I'm going to blow your guys' minds. And I don't know how up-to-date you guys are on pop culture, but get this. Did you guys know that the Karate Kid, they're going to do, you know how Netflix does their little series or whatever? I think YouTube is doing a series where they bring back the original Daniel LaRusso and
Ralph Macchio?
Yeah.
Really?
What's the guy? Zab something, whatever you got.
William Zabka, the bad
William
guy.
Zabka. They're going to be back, and they're going to do like a 8-part thing on YouTube. But I guess it takes place with Mr. Miyagi already passing away and all that. And so yeah, they're
older. They're older guys now,
and
are they senseis or something? Or?
Yeah, I think Johnny's supposed to bring back the Cobra Kai dojo, and it reignites, you know, something like that.
I'm in. I'm in, man. It was, looking
yeah.
back, it was kind of corny, but I was in back then when I was a kid, and I'm in for that.
So as soon as Charles said that, I was like, oh, I can't wait to drop this nugget. Did you know that, Charles?
No, I didn't know that, but it's good info. I appreciate it. I'll definitely check it out, you know, when I get the thing. And you know, speaking of hurricanes, you guys are saying we're talking about hurricanes, but I'm actually in Florida. I'm in South Florida right now, Boca Raton, Florida. You know, training out American Top Team, and there's supposed to be a big hurricane hitting Saturday, I think, and they're saying that there's mandatory evacuation and stuff like that. So we're all trying to figure out what we're going to do. You know, I mean, hopefully it doesn't hit and we don't get hit with the hurricane, but I mean, you know, because I don't really want it to mess up my training. But, I mean, I'm already in shape anyways, and I can pretty much cruise the rest of the way. But it should be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, you saw what happened in Texas and stuff like that, so everybody's taking precautions now.
Charles, I happen to be talking to a teammate of yours, Hector Lombard. He fights the week before you, but he doesn't travel until next Tuesday. However, he was able to coordinate with the UFC, early travel to Pittsburgh. You might want to look into that. I don't know if you want to go too early, but if you are looking to jump out, I would think the UFC's got your back. This is a Category 5, that Hurricane Irma that's supposed to sweep through the Caribbean, or is already sweeping through the Caribbean and then heading towards the peninsula that's Florida. So, look into that.
Yeah, actually, definitely. Let's get info. One of my other teammates, kid who's fighting Uriah Hall, Jarko, he's leaving. He's leaving on Friday instead of he's supposed to leave on Monday. So. Yeah, I mean, I talked to a couple teammates, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't know, I've been through it a couple times. I'm hoping it doesn't do what it does, but you know what they're saying it's going to do, but we'll see. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't really know. But that's good info. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, this fight in Japan, I know MMA is at the end of the day when they lock the cage doors, it's you and your opponent. But what percentage would you say nationalistic pride is on the line? It's USA versus Japan.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's you know, the way I put myself into the cage. You know, everybody's different. Some people go into the cage thinking, oh, it's a sport. You know, we're gonna go there, 2 athletes compete, and you know that's cool and everything. But you know, the way I kind of do it is almost like when I was a kid watching the Bloodsport movies. Like I'm going in there, it's like to the death. You know, and I have to put myself in that special place and, you know, flip that switch and get my mind and everything right. You know, I mean, that's the type of fighter I am. I mean, obviously you see it in the way I fight. I mean, I have, you know, 3 fight of the night bonuses out of 5 UFC fights. So, I mean, every fight I'm going in there, you know, I mean, I'm going in there for the kill every time. So one of the things that I definitely do to help get me mentally focused and do it is, you know, I have a lot of pride, you know, and pride is one of those things that, you know, it's one of those things that helps motivate you a lot. And, you know, I have a lot of pride in my country and where I'm from. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Japan. I love traveling. Like, I got to go fight in Mexico when I fought Yair Rodriguez. And, you know, I was proud to walk out with the American flag. But, you know, pride's a huge thing for me. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of always how I look at it. Like, I'm like, you know, representing my country. And honestly, I feel like I'm going to war. I mean, always after the fight, I always have respect for the opponent. You know, they're as long as they're, you know, respectful to me back, but definitely, man. I mean, I wouldn't say there's a certain percentage I put on it, but I mean that's my mindset. When I'm going in there, it's war, and it's to the death. And even though that might not be the reality of it, that's definitely how I think and how I fight.
Well, the first thing I thought of when you brought that up, and I don't know if it's too late for this or not, but if you're a fan of Enson Inoue, get his book and read that on the way to Japan. It's a real short read, but he kind of subscribes to Enson Inoue. He used to fight in the UFC, and he lives in Japan, but he was born and raised in Hawaii. And that was one of his things, was before every fight that he had, he would handwrite a letter to his family, basically kind of saying goodbye with the notion that I'm going in there with the possibility that I may die. And then after the fight, he didn't die, he would burn the letter. But there's a lot of good stories that I think would maybe motivate you a little bit, because it along the lines of blood sport and stuff like that. I think you'd really like it. But anyway, my next question for you, I know that you were big on the Mayweather-McGregor fight, and watching that fight, can you kind of give your thoughts on that, and then also give us thoughts on the big fight that's coming up, Triple G and Canelo?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously that was super entertaining, that matchup to see Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Initially going into it, I actually had the opportunity 3 or 4 years back to go train it over at Floyd Mayweather's gym and stuff like that. And, I got to train with a couple of actually the guys in the undercard. This kid, Kevin Newman, he actually fought on the box card and stuff like that. Did a lot of rounds with him. And I also trained with Jeff Mayweather. So, one of my boxing coaches is John David Jackson, who is Kovalev's coach. So I've been in and out of boxing gyms a lot, and I've sparred with some of the best guys. I've sparred with some of the great, some great fighters, Charles Whitaker, Randall Bailey. I've even put in rounds with Kovalev before. And these are all guys that, when you're in there, you think, when you're in there and you're in there competing with them, initially I'm like, well, anybody that gets in there has a chance. If you have two hands and you have a strong heartbeat and you can, you're training for it, you got a chance. But the one thing that I noticed with Floyd Mayweather is even those guys, like those high-level guys that aren't quite the best in the world, like those high-level guys, Mayweather would make them look like beginners. And I even noticed a difference in jiu-jitsu. Like sometimes, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and, I roll with all different guys. But then there's also these black belts that are like world champion, and all they do is train jiu-jitsu, and they're even a different level than me. And I'm like, man, wow, look at these guys. They're doing all the new things and stuff like that. So, for me, when I was watching the fight, going into the fight, I knew Floyd was going to win. I mean, honestly, I bet a ton of money on him, and it paid off because I knew it. But for me, it was just super entertaining. I got to watch it. I kind of thought that's how the fight would go. I bet that he would finish by TKO, and I think he made it a little bit entertaining. But I think Conor did pretty good. I mean, he went in there and he did what he had to do, and. My Uncle Tommy, he's also a boxer. He's one of the guys that motivated to get me into fighting, but he said the same thing. Like, he said that if kind of like McGregor went in there with like a Canelo or a Triple G, what you were just talking about, it wouldn't have lasted 3 rounds because they're such aggressive, hard fighters, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I don't know what you guys think. But,
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to ask you what the old guard, the old schoolers in your family that have boxed, thought of it. Hey, because I don't know if you were siding with the MMA guy in this fight, Charles, and I know obviously, like I said, your family comes from a boxing background, but I was wondering what they thought of a fight like this.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought it was super entertaining. They're like, oh man, it's pretty awesome. But I think they all knew, that there's levels. There's different levels. It's not the same sport, and everybody, all the boxers in my uncle, he has a lot of pride. But then there was a thing like where he's aging, he's a little bit older, Mayweather. There's so many different factors, and then there's also a factor like that one scary thing, like is this a setup? Everyone, there's always like that 1% chance that we don't really know what's going on. So, but if it's a straight up fight, everybody agreed that Mayweather wins the fight, and that's what happened. And but they also, like I said, I was talking to my Uncle Tommy, who has over 200 boxing matches, and he was telling me the same thing. He was like, if he went against like a Triple G or Canelo, like he probably wouldn't last 3 rounds, And
right,
like I said, I mean, Floyd got the finish. He hasn't got a knockout in I forget how many years, but yeah.
That money that you bet on that fight, would you call it easy money or difficult money?
Yeah, no, that was easy money. Just because I felt like, I definitely felt like I mean, in the beginning, everyone was thinking this, but like, it's a 12-round fight. I've done rounds. I've done a lot of boxing rounds in tons of boxing gyms, and like the one thing that I knew that I felt like nobody knows is that when I go in there with like a pretty good boxer, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd say just like you would say, like maybe like a 9-2 pro boxer, or like a 18-5 pro boxer, like a kind of like journeyman guy who has a winning record.
Right.
I can box like 7-8 rounds and feel good, but be like pretty tired after the 8 rounds. But if I go in there with there's one kid, Cletus Selden, I spar with. He's 19-0. He fights on Showbox. He's a really good, solid kid from New York. And I know when I do the rounds with him, it's a little bit different. Like it's a little bit higher level. So after like 4 or 5 rounds, I feel like I would have felt in the 8th round with those other journeymen. And then you could only imagine like going with like a Floyd Mayweather or like the highest level guy in the world. You probably feel like that after 2 or 3 rounds because you have to be so sharp. Every time they feint, every time they throw a jab, every time they move their feet, you have to react because that could be the shot that like really hurts you. Where another guy's at a little bit lower level, you can sit back and kind of breathe a little bit and stuff like that. But you have to be when you have to be so sharp and like on point like that, it really drains a lot of your energy. And I knew that was going to happen with McGregor. And I mean, it's easy to say now because the fight's over. Everyone said they knew it was going to happen, and I don't want to act like I'm a professional and know everything, but that was truthfully what I thought, and that's honestly what happened. And he gassed out, and that's what happened.
Well, you are a professional MMA fighter with a boxing background from a boxing family, so your opinion does matter, Charles. Charles Rosa, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio, UFC featherweight. He will be fighting in a couple weeks in Japan at UFC Fight Night 117 versus Mizuto Hirota in Saitama, Japan. All right, Charles, one last question, then we'll let you go. And again, thank you for doing the interview here. If we have ribeye steaks and we want to barbecue them the following day, we have 24 hours. What's the best way to marinate them? For how long? And I got buddies that do it in beer and wine, and others that just add their own seasoning. I mean, are we doing it wrong, or is there something that you would recommend?
Yeah, the best way, if you have a hot grill, right?
Yeah.
The best thing to do is you don't have to season or do nothing to them because honestly, like as long as it's a good quality meat. If it's the only time you marinate a meat the day before is if it's like a low quality meat. If you have like ribeyes or strip steaks or filet mignon, you never marinate them because they're good the way they are. If you get like a little bit of a lesser type of meat, like just like a chuck or whatever, something that's like a little bit harder than maybe steak tips or something, you might want to marinate because it tenderizes them. But definitely, if you got some nice ribeyes, nice and fresh, keep them in the fridge, keep them fresh, and then when it's time to grill them, just put a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper on them, and you're good, and put them on the grill. They're going to be the freshest and the juiciest. Sometimes if you start seasoning them with all this like barbecue type stuff, and you pretty much ruin the steak, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you got a good cut of meat, then just, it's the best way to do it is just grill it up. If you want to put it in the side as a dipping sauce, like some barbecue sauce or something like that, do it. But anytime you over-season a steak that is a good quality steak, like a ribeye is a good cut of meat, you're ruining it. That's my advice.
No.
But I would think if you do want to do something, just do a dry rub. Don't put it in like a vinegar or anything like that because it'll ruin the meat.
All right.
There you know what? Every Charles Rosa interview leaves me so hungry. This morning, I went and I got breakfast just so I wouldn't be hungry after this interview. And I got a burrito too, by the way.
Oh, thank you. All right, perfect. Charles, it's always a blast to talk to you, man. Good luck with the rest of your camp. I hope you stay safe out there in Florida while Hurricane Irma sweeps through, and safe travels to Japan, and good luck on September 22nd.
All right, I appreciate it, man. I'm going to be going in there looking for that 50K recharge again, so, hopefully I get it, but hopefully it doesn't have to be Friday night. Hopefully I can get a split submission or a nice knockout and get it the smooth way.
Yeah, you got 3 of those $50,000 checks, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, go out there and get it, man. Get that finish.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care. We'll see you. All right, folks, that is Charles Rosa, and you can follow him on Twitter at Charles Rosa MMA. Want to take a couple calls here before we take our commercial, and let's see if we can fill in a couple of these spots. We'll start off with Oreo in Alberta, Canada. What's up, Oreo? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Hey, I was just wondering, did you catch what Bob Arum was talking about the UFC?
Well, many times, but you mean lately? What has he said?
Yeah, lately.
Go ahead. What do you say?
Is it important? Because he's a little far from reality at times too.
Yeah, he was basically declaring a war on the UFC. He was basically saying all the boxing promoters need to come together and battle the UFC because the UFC are racist fans that support Trump and et cetera, et cetera. So I was just wondering, what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's kind of bad for the sport to have somebody try to trash the UFC as something that it's not?
It depends on who says it. And you go back and you look at Bob Arum and his history and some of the dumb things that have come out of his mouth.
Right.
I just kind of look at it. I look at the guy next to me and I do that little crazy symbol. Like, hey, don't mind him. He's just crazy. That's the way I look at it.
He's old. He's crazy. Yeah. Pay him no mind. Look, I've known of Bob Arum for many years because through boxing. But yeah, his disdain for Dana White is very clear. Dana White at the same time, I don't think sends him a Christmas card. So yeah, I mean, look how ridiculous that sounds. MMA fans are racist. I mean, no, that's not a fact at all.
Silly.
Yeah,
we don't sweat it.
But Zuffa Boxing, I wonder if that will be in any sort of a threat. I mean, it's not good to have that many enemies either, and he's always beefed with Arum. He's obviously in good with Mayweather Promotions, but how big is Mayweather Promotions outside of Floyd? But he's beefing with Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah. So I imagine that we'll see more of this as things continue. But I wouldn't worry too much about what Bob Arum says. Oreo, would you like to be in the contest for the glove that's signed by Canelo Alvarez and Triple G? We'd love to have you in it.
Sure.
All right.
That'd be good. Oh, can I ask one thing quickly before I go?
Yeah.
Since UFC 215 is here, right? Mm-hmm. Where are the fighters located? Like, what gyms, what hotel? I'm trying to figure it out, but I haven't been able to find any info on where I can see some of the fighters.
I'll try and find out. Your best bet is watch Embedded. More than likely, they always list the hotel that the fighters are there at. So watch Embedded. With 2 title fights, I have to imagine that we'll get a short version of it, but there will be some Embedded out there, and it'll be there. But if I happen to find out, then I'll put something out on Twitter. I mean, it's not like they really try and hide it or nothing like that. We're going to give you Canelo round 6, all right? If he wins, you win the glove. All right, take care. All right, see ya. Let's do Brandon from Louisville. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Hey, boys. Doing all right. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
Good. Glad to see you all taking a well-earned vacation the next week and a half.
Thank you.
If anybody deserves it, it's you all. Now, is it just going to be Dan Solo in there, or are you calling up Jason B from the Couv? What's going on here?
No,
in the future, maybe it could be something like that.
Yeah, you never know. But I think for now, the show will just be on a little hiatus until Thursday, September 21st.
But I will say this. Those of you who missed Jason from the Couv, he'll be back, and he'll be recapping Tough for us when we get back from vacation.
Very cool.
I don't miss him that much. So since I'm not going to be able to talk to y'all for a week and a half, I want to leave this one thought in your mind, because it's been rolling around, and the more and more I think of it, Conor McGregor, is he bigger than the belt now?
Bigger than the belt? The UFC belt?
Is he bigger?
Yeah.
Yes, is he bigger than the title? Is it?
Yeah, you know why? Because he already won the titles. He won them both. He sat on the cage, the octagon in New York with both belts. He was a simultaneous champion. Yes, we can pick apart and say the road to the title, was convenient. He hasn't defended. I get all that. But Conor's still going to go down as a legend because he still fought 2 title fights against 2 world champions, and he steamrolled them both. In fact, the tougher of the 2, there was times where Aldo was being talked about, if he just kept going as being a Mount Rushmore guy or whatever, or maybe even the greatest fighter ever out of Brazil because of Silva, the way he ended his career. And he just goes out there and blasts him. So now, think about it. Even if let's say him and the UFC were to butt heads, and he goes, fuck it, I don't want to defend, I want to do super fights, the UFC is still going to find ways to put him in, figure things out against GSP or any other big name that's out there, Kevin Lee, and they'll try their best to make it for a title. But I bet you if he wasn't a world champion and he's still out there chirping, he'll fight another great fighter, and he's big business. Well, the UFC knows this, Conor knows this, and so what they do is they make business decisions, and they go forward with fights. Thanks, Brandon, for the call.
I think it's really easy to answer. Let's just say Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson are fighting for the belt, and Conor McGregor is fighting Nate Diaz, not for a belt. Majority of people are going to buy that fight. Yeah. So, yeah, he's bigger than the belt.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we've added a special guest. As you all know, we are headed to JBLE, Joint Base Langley Eustis, and we will be talking to the Public Affairs Officer, Jeff Hood, from JBLE, and we'll talk to him. We will be seeing him in a few hours, but we'll talk about this upcoming trip, the third tour that the MMA Junkie Radio team is doing, along with Misha Tate, Kobe Covington, and Paul Felder. Stitch Duran, of course, always part of the team. We'll be right back. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. please wire me money to Nigeria, and we'll talk more about this.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been, and because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goes, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, the American Red Cross is helping people affected in Texas and across the Gulf Coast. Shelters are open, truckloads of supplies are being distributed, and volunteers are in place. If you would like to help, please visit redcross.org, or you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or even text Harvey to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Message and data rates may apply. Today, after our show is over, myself, Goes, and the crew that we've assembled, including former UFC bantamweight champion Miesha Tate, Stitch Duran, noted cutman, and UFC male fighters Colby Covington and Paul Felder, and a few others, will be heading to Langley, Virginia. We are going to Joint Base Langley Eustis to visit two different military bases, Fort Eustis and Langley Air Base. This is our third time. It's an honor. We cannot wait. And joining us now is Jeff Hood, a public affairs officer for JBLE, good friend of ours who we've seen previously. Hello, Jeff. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How you doing?
We are excited. Can't wait to see you. Leaving in a few hours after this show's over. Round 3.
No, it's going to be fantastic. Hey, and of course, as always, we're looking forward to everything you and you guys do out here. Hey, let me say one quick thing though, because you mentioned the Harvey thing coming on. Hey, one of the things we do out here is that we actually host what's called JTF, Joint Task Force Civil Support, and that is kind of the military mechanism that plugs into FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Administration. So, hey, all our thoughts out to the folks down there in Harvey and what they've been going through down there in Texas. And of course, we actually have folks deployed, unsurprisingly. And of course, the military is getting all braced for Irma coming down the pike too. So, just everybody keep those folks in your thoughts and prayers. And hub of activity here supporting all that effort too. So, just want to get that out there, guys.
Jeff, we have been keeping track of Irma as well. I had heard it was sweeping through the Caribbean and it was going to touch on possibly, through the Keys and then possibly through South Florida. But a friend of mine did tell me it could head up north through Carolina and up Virginia. Are you hearing the same thing?
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, just like you, we look at NOAA and all the other, weather forecasters out there. And the latest I saw was kind of coming through the kind of Orlando or so area on Sunday or so, then trekking north. But I think it'll be good. It'll be good for your visit here. So I think we'll get you guys back to Vegas in one piece when you get out of here.
That's high on my list of priorities, by the way.
To be in a hurricane?
No, to be back in one piece.
Okay.
Now Goes wants to get back. Well, I gotta take care of Stitch. He's an old Air Force guy, so we want to make sure.
I know that Raptor plane's a one-seater, but I will snuggle if it means it gets me out of a hurricane.
Well, Jeff,
I tell you, thanks for mentioning the Raptor. But just like the Raptor's, world-class air machine, America's best. Hey, you're bringing some of America's best athletes down here too. And I got to tell you what, the airmen and the soldiers here are incredibly psyched to have you guys in town for like you just said, round 3, the third time. And this time really special because, as you know, anybody who's come visit here hasn't lost a UFC fight after leaving. And we got Valentina up on Saturday night, and that is going to be a madhouse.
Yeah. It is. That is so cool because Valentina was part of the first trip. And as you know, Kevin Lee, who was part of the second trip, he's fighting for a world title, Jeff, on October 7th here in Las Vegas, UFC 216. We saw him the other day, and, of course, he was wishing us a well trip, wanted us to send his regards. But he's got a title fight coming up. So, yes, and Miesha Tate, who's going with us, has won a world title. So there is something special about JBLE. Valentina told me herself she carries JBLE in her soul, in her spirit. So she when we saw her the other day, she said she wanted us to send her regards to everybody, and she also told me, guys, she wants to go back. So that got me really, really psyched up, and hopefully the schedules align that she can go back if you guys will have us back. So thank you for hosting us for this third time, and just know that the fighters have been left with a great impression of what you all do. The same goes for myself and Goes and Stitch Duran, and I hope this isn't the last one, but we're definitely looking forward to heading out there tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, Jeff, while we have you on the line, I know I brought up the Raptor, but if anybody can go in depth, because we talk about this all the time, how unique the space is and how unique this plane is. Can you just kind of, in layman's terms, tell everyone how unique this plane is?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that for you, Goes. And you know I'm an old A10 driver, so I didn't go that fast and go that high. But I'll tell you a little bit about the Raptor. Yeah, it is. It is America's premier air-to-air fighter, and it is only. We got a lot of great aircraft, but this is one we kept home. It's just U.S. only, and it is what we use. If anybody anywhere would try to keep us out of their skies or out of anything, well, I tell you, the Raptor is there to apply its combination of super cruise, supersonic speed, advanced avionics, advanced maneuverability, and stealth to do what needs to be done in support of America and America's interests and America's allies. So you're going to be, don't worry, you'll be safe when you're here. We don't really take on hurricanes, but again, we'll make sure we get you guys out of town before that. But on top of that, let me just mention also we are a joint base. We are Air Force and Army, and we have a couple expeditionary brigades over at Fort Eustis, and it's their job too to get out and go and do what needs to be done downrange. And you're going to get a chance to visit a couple of those folks, and I think actually going to go and see some of the Army's boats while you're here.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I like checking out the different boats
that base
out
is
there.
going to be celebrating their 100-year anniversary, George.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Jeff.
Hey, just to mention,
sure.
I hope that you've talked to Misha and Paul and Colby, and you've let them know the energy in the Madhouse is going to be here on Saturday night. I think, Valentina felt it. A lot of folks have felt it when they've been here, and the energy is just incredible. When you get these kids here with those folks, and especially on Fight Night, it's going to be a Madhouse.
That is awesome. I can't wait. It is going to be a great fight. One of two title fights that night, Jeff. And, of course, Demetrius Johnson in the headliner that night. He goes for a record-breaking 11th title defense against Ray Borg. So it's going to be a special night. There's going to be a lot of great fights. And it all happens here in a few days.
No, it's going to be exciting. And I tell you, when Valentina comes back with that belt, watch out, guys. We'll get you back for that, hopefully pretty soon.
Awesome. All right, Jeff. Well, we'll see you soon. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, you guys travel safe. Again, our best to Paul, Misha, and Colby. And you tell Stitch that, I'll be waiting for him and share some old war stories when he gets out here.
You got it. All right, Jeff. See you soon.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye. Folks, follow us on the social media platforms of Twitter and Instagram. We will be trying to put out as much as we can, as much as we're allowed from the trip. We really get to see a lot of cool things while we're there. Get to meet a lot of brave young men and women, and been lucky enough to meet a lot of the upper officers as well. So we really look forward to the trip, but there's just been some great moments that have been captured, like that bag hitting Felice Herrig back in the face. I mean, she even laughs it off. Poor Felice. She was like a punching bag a little bit. Remember when Brad kicked her and went a little too hard on the chest? Brad Tavares, getting bit by a dog. I mean, it's really, really a lot of fun. And, they're all pretty engaging athletes. We're also going to shoot to do a Facebook Live every morning as well with each fighter, kind of like an interview of their experience of what's happening at JBLE and, of course, anything they have going on. Misha's now a manager in the sport. Colby Covington's got the fight going on against Damian Maia in about 6 weeks, so that's pretty huge as well. And I'm sure Stitch has his plate full for the rest of 2017. He's always in the corner of great boxers, most recently Andre Ward against Sergey Kovalov. So lots to talk about. Paul Felder will be with us as well. I'll shoot all that over to you in the second hour, all of the Instagram and Twitter handles. We'll be right back after this break. man, when's this bitch gonna talk about vacation?
I was just telling
We're losing
Danny,
street cred by the minute here.
I was just telling Danny, I think George is sacrificing maybe one question for this song to take off, and I absolutely co-sign.
I didn't realize there was such a lead-in.
All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. And yes, after today's show is over, we're going on vacation, so that's the theme. But wow, they took a while to get to that.
They did.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
And we were losing street cred by every second that goes. We're talking to a fucking beast of a middleweight, former world champion in Luke Rockhold. He ain't fucking feeling the go-go's. You know what I mean?
I think he might.
You think he is?
I think he could.
Well, let's ask him. Joining us now, former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold. What's up, Luke? How you doing?
What's up, man? That was quite the intro song. I was about to fucking hang up.
I told you, man. He don't play. He don't play. And I think we're catching him. Usually if you catch him on fight week, very stoic. He usually has a lot of curse words to say towards the opponent. You can just tell there's no joking around. So this time we did it a little bit early. But Luke is headlining UFC Fight Night 116 out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania against David Branch. Luke, first of all, we're hearing that, you know, that hurricane sweeping through Florida. How much has it affected you and your training at all, or are you getting out of there just in time?
Oh, I'm going to get out of here before it gets chaotic. Not trying to witness my first hurricane here in Florida. I'm a West Coast guy, so earthquakes are like nothing. I'm not trying to experience this Florida life. East Coast thrills, not really my thing.
Straight to Pittsburgh, I take it?
Straight to Pittsburgh. I'm just going to get adjusted, get everything. The whole team's really flying out so I got everybody there and just getting in a little early. The work's done. I'm ready to go, so it's perfect.
It took a while for you to come back, over a year. Was it most of that because you wanted to heal up, or was some of it just? I know you've been wanting to, you know, get paid more and also find the right fight.
It was a combination of everything. I was supposed to fight Jacare in November. I was pushing it, coming off my MCL tear, and obviously pushed too hard and tore my ACL, 50% tear in my ACL, and so I took about 6 months off and did the stem cells and tried to heal that thing up without surgery. Got through that. Was getting to the point where I was ready to fight again, and then couldn't get anybody to sign on the dotted line. Anderson in June they wanted, and then Masasi and so on and so on. I couldn't find anybody in the top 10 who wanted to sign on the dotted line. So here's the finally the first guy that would in the top 10 that would step up and fight a real fight. So here we are. Time to fight.
Is the knee 100%?
He's 110%. I'm ready. Cracking heads and taking out livers.
Yeah.
I'm ready to put my shin right through David Branch's head.
Because you have the type of arsenal that requires a lot of, you know, pivoting and posting and those kicks that you're throwing. So I imagine that you needed the right amount of time to be healthy so that you could go out there and perform like you normally do.
Exactly. You know, you got to be healthy at the top of the game, no matter who you're fighting. I'm not trying to end these fights when I'm not healthy. You know, I've done that before, and they don't reward you if you slip up when you're not healthy. So do what you got to do. The UFC plays hardball, and so you gotta make sure you cover your ass and stay healthy and stay in shape and fight the fights when you're good and ready.
And of course, you know, you definitely have been wanting more pay. You feel like the athletes should get paid better. Were you able to either get a new contract or a bump in pay, or is that something that's forthcoming after a fight like this one?
We got a few things in line, but you know, it is what it is right now. I'm fighting, getting a decent check, and then we'll be building upon that. So I putting myself in line. You know, the time off, I definitely learned to not have to rely on the UFC and make my money in so many ways and establish myself. So the time off gave me some, you know, cleared things up and let me sort things out. And I'm ready, man. I'm a fighter, and that's what I want to do, and I know where I want to go. So I want to start next week with David Branch.
Robbie Lawler took some time off after losing his title and came back with a vengeance. Now they're talking about that's enough. Put him back in there. Let's see if he can get his title back. Are you trying to follow the same blueprint? Do you feel like you defeating David Branch on the 16th puts you in line to fight the winner of George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping?
I think it puts me in line ahead of George St. Pierre. I think George St. Pierre is a joke. I still don't have faith that George makes it to the fight, so we'll see what happens. I know that I've done my job. I've beaten Bisping already, beaten Weidman, I've beaten Machida, I've beaten all these guys. So I'm just going to go put a stamp on this fight and do what I have to do.
You would
not underestimate David Branch. David Branch is, he's a tough guy.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to feel better than I've ever felt. I feel like I can go execute in a fashion that nobody has. He makes people fight his fight. He just tries to slow it down. I'm not, I got to take the pace and take over and put this dude away like nobody has. Obviously, he hasn't lost in 5 years. That's saying something. His last loss was a decision to Anthony Johnson. So he's somewhat game.
Luke, that gets me excited, man, when an athlete is able to forecast like that. And, again, I know you're not overlooking Branch. Same thing you're saying I'm looking at. He's won 11 straight. He became a world champion in another organization. Now he's back. He got a win in the UFC. So I know that's not what's happening here. But that is very interesting. So you're saying that if you win and you put a stamp on this, you would be ready to go in November at MSG? That's not too quick of a turnaround?
I'm fucking tired of waiting.
I love it. I fucking love it. I love when athletes talk like that. Thank you for saying something like that.
I'm not fucking around. I'm seriously. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of talking about it. It's time to make it happen. It's time to do it. And so, I'm coming. I'm coming with a vengeance, like you said.
I love it. I'm fired up. All right, I'll let Goes get a question or two. I know we got to let you go soon because you got to get out of there to beat Irma the Hurricane. All right, go ahead, Goes.
Yeah, I'll ask my question after I'm done buying his Reebok kit right now because I'm fucking fired up.
Me too, man. I love it when people have that kind of like tenacity and venom, man.
But that's kind of what I wanted to ask you, Luke, because I've noticed that you've taken it up a notch. You were talking about the stamp, and that's what I want to ask you about. Would a decision victory be good enough for you here? Because I feel like you have to stomp this guy out.
I don't feel like I have to do anything. I feel like I know what I can do, and that'll be enough. I'm gonna let the fight take its pace, wherever it may be. When I'm fighting my fight, when I'm healthy, when I'm focused, there's nobody that can play with me in this game. I'm gonna operate on a higher level, and so I just know I can pick this dude apart. I know I can put him away. Just let the fight take its natural course, and he's not going to last.
David's been talking a little noise on his end as well. Do you enjoy fights more when that happens?
I don't really give a fuck about people that talk behind their sunglasses and a beanie in a stupid barbershop. The guy's he can talk and run his mouth all he wants. It's going to be fight time next week, and he'll find out real quick where he belongs.
Let's leave it at that, man. That's a mic drop right there. All right. Thank you, Luke, for the time. Be safe out there. Good luck on September 16th. I can't wait, man. We have a UFC with you and Branch headlining, and then we also have Canelo and Triple G. That's a great night of combat sports. And, folks, this goes down at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Thanks, Luke, for the time, as always.
Guys, enjoy.
Right. We'll see you. All right. Follow him on Twitter, at Luke Rockhold. I like that contingency plan. Look, GSP's health has always been a little bit of a question mark, and of course Bisping has had some setbacks in his recovery. So for him to declare himself as the contingency, I don't know if that means they give him another matchup on the same card, and he's there to fill in case something happens, or he's just waiting in the wings in case something happens. That's nice to hear. A lot of times I get asked, why doesn't the UFC pay another athlete to just be waiting in the wings? And I go, well, that other athlete would have to do a whole camp, especially if it's a title fight. I mean, those camps are wear and tear. They're also expensive. And then think about if you get to the night of the fight and then like you're not fighting. Yeah, they're gonna ask for some sort of compensation for it, but I don't know if the UFC's anxious to do that, especially for title fights now. You're probably talking about a couple $100,000 for most people that are involved in those types of fights. But if you put a high caliber middleweight on the same fight card that a middleweight championship's being disputed, then you have yourself some sort of a contingency plan. But
what's the training cost?
I like it because you'd have to ask, man. I think Conor once said, now he's the standard when it comes to the high level. His camp versus Diaz cost him $300,000. Granted, he has a mansion. He comes out for 30 days, 60 days before the fight. He's got training partners. Remember that Dylan Dennis guy? He's a specialist. That's the guy that helped him up his level of jiu-jitsu. So he basically said, hey, Dylan Dennis, you're with me every day. You're not out there training and getting better. You're not out there competing. He just competed against Gary Tonin in Polaris, a grappling event in the UK. So you have to forego all that to be a part of my camp. Plus, Kavanaugh, Owen Roddy, Artem Lobov. You got to feed all those motherfuckers. You got to house all those guys, doing it in style. So I've always wondered if camp numbers go higher than they really are, because it's just good PR to say, oh yeah, it's a $300,000 camp.
He's one of those special guys that runs.
Remember Rampage said $1 million goes when he fought John Jones. He said $1 million was spent. Now, granted, if you break it down, I think it's probably the cost of the gym, but he was living there, and so it's all how you break down the financials of how it worked.
I'm talking take an ATT guy.
Yeah.
They've already got the gym. They've already got the training partners. Maybe they bring in a specialist or two. What does that cost?
Jay Haran, we asked him once, and I said, how much does it cost for someone to, I don't know if it was to hire you to go out or for you to hire someone.
I think it was for him to go
I think
out.
He was saying a couple grand a week.
I think so, yeah.
Is what he said?
Two.
Yeah. So it all depends on who you're bringing out. That conversation was probably about 5 years ago. I remember when Tito Ortiz once said, this was when he was at the top and he was camping in Big Bear. He bought De La Hoya's home and all that. This was in the late 90s. I remember he said, it cost me $5,000 to go to Big Bear. That was a big deal back then. Cost you $5,000. I thought, well, if he goes for 30 days, rent's $2,000, I guess another $3,000 in food. I don't know how I figured it out, but it was a big deal when he said it then, and now just the sport keeps getting bigger and bigger and younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to thank myself for setting up the Luke Rockhold interview. Boy, I'm fantastic at times. Charles Rosa set that one up too. All right, let's talk to Chris in Vancouver. Also, if you want to join in, it's 866-522-2846. And don't let me forget, we got to talk about Squid and his eliminator pool that he's doing. A lot of junkies have participated in the past. That's basically a pool where you pick a winner every week. So, for example, I'm looking up here, and the Patriots are -9 against the Chiefs. If you pick the Patriots this week and they win, you advance. You advance to the following week. But you can't pick the Patriots again. If the Patriots lose, you're out. It's not double elimination, right? It's just one.
I looked to see that, and I didn't see anything about it.
I think it's just single elimination.
I thought we did double elimination, though, either last year or the year. I remember one year
I
we
better
did
check. Since we'll get into those details, the latter part of the show.
If you're good at
we'll
what
check.
you do, you don't worry about stuff like that. But
he's having another one, so if you're interested, reach out to us somehow or reach out to the Squid himself, and he'll put you in. It only costs 25 credits to be a part of this contest. Fun amongst friends. Let's just leave it at that. Let's talk to Chris in Vancouver. What's up, Chris?
Hey, boys. I want to talk about the flyweight, the UFC flyweight division.
Okay.
Fire away.
You guys are going to watch the fight? Is that right? You're going to watch the Borg Radimov?
We're going to a military base, and we're going to have a fight party with the troops.
Are you excited about it? About Borg? Do you think he's got any shot? Is there any intrigue behind this one?
He claims that he's bringing things to the table that other fighters haven't brought, and I have to disagree a little bit. Yeah. I think the one thing he brings that's very valuable is I think he will be very good in those scrambles, and I think he's tougher maybe than some of the other guys. But as far as not bringing something that nobody's brought, I just don't see it. I think he can give Demetrius some problems early on, but I don't know about over 5 rounds.
Yeah, and I have to get away from like fluffing up the underdog pick per se, just for the benefit of getting Junkie Nation excited. If you guys aren't excited, then that's on you. I am pretty pumped up. For one, it's a record that Demetrious Johnson's trying to break. 2, Tim Elliott, I wouldn't say showed kinks in the armor, but he showed us that the other guy is human. He's immortal, and that we need to keep tuning in because anything can and will happen at some point. They all go down at some point, it seems like, in the sport of mixed martial arts. Borg is younger. Demetrious is a little bit older. Borg doesn't seem as intimidated. Borg was just in our studio about 2 weeks ago. So to answer your question, are you excited? Yeah, man. I got to really meet this guy up front for once. We also did some interviews later on at the UFC PI. So that's pretty cool. Demetrious Johnson was a big part of our 2000 show. So yeah, man, 2 people I really like. I guess care about. Like they're not my homies or nothing like that. But the 2 people I've gotten to know and that have been to our studio are fighting, and I think it's going to be a bigger fight than the disparity I see with the odds here. Demetrious is a huge favorite, but I think it's a closer fight than it is. That said, Demetrious, I believe it will be too much because of the speed and the transitions, but I still think it's going to be a better fight than people expect.
Yeah. Do you guys think that it's in that flyweight division? Do you think Demetrious is really that good, or do you think it's a weak division, or do you think it's both?
I think he's really that good.
Yeah, I think he's really that good too.
Because Joseph Benavidez is a great number 2 guy. Even Henry Cejudo is a great fighter. I mean, there's a lot of guys in those divisions that are tough. That if you kind of translate their size and their speed to another division, you'd have a great fighter. And Demetrious has gone through them all.
It's weird because
that's not 1 through 10 though. That's like 1 through 5. Yeah, they're
exactly. You would think that the competition would get tougher and Demetrious' fights would be closer. And if anything, he's looked better as he's gotten older. Mm-hmm. So he's outdistanced himself from the 2, the 3, the 4 guy. But McCall had a pretty good night during the 4-man tournament. Benavidez lost a split decision to Demetrious Johnson. So Demetrious Johnson has lost rounds. Demetrious Johnson has been on the bottom of an opponent. Demetrious Johnson has lost a scramble. Tim Elliott took Henry Cejudo, I remember before. Didn't Demetrious finish it with a knee to the body?
With Henry?
Yeah, and right before that, Henry kneed him. Or they clinched. They clinched up, and Henry got a trip. So he's overcome, I guess, other fighters, best outputs at time, and made the adjustments. That's another thing he's really good at, is making adjustments.
But Henry, I feel like, has grown a little bit since that fight. I'd like to see that fight again. I think it would be a lot better fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris, I want to make you part of this contest, Triple G and Canelo for the glove. You in, or?
Oh, I would love that. There's nothing Triple G left, though, is there?
There's rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5.
For Triple G. Oh, man, imagine. Okay, I'll take round 5. I'll take Triple G in round 5. I'll go out on a limb.
You got it, man. It's all yours.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right, folks. We're going to take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. When we come back, I'd love to fill in some spots here. What we have available is Canelo, round 1, round 7, round 11, round 12. For Triple G, we have round 2, round 3, round 4, and then the draw is also empty. So it looks like we have 8 spots overall. This bad boy's filling up. Remember, it's signed by both participants of this great middleweight fight that takes place on September 16th on HBO pay-per-view. Canelo, Alvarez, and Triple G. We'll be right back.
To link into the MMA Junkie Radio Network, hit us up on Twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
The NFL season kicks off tomorrow as the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots host the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL radio takes you live to Foxborough for pregame coverage starting at 7 with Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin on Moving the Chains. Then hear the national broadcast followed by a complete postgame reaction from the stadium. It's all on NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the SiriusXM app. Patriots, lucky-ass Patriots. How the fuck do you give up a 28-3 lead if you're the Falcons?
Stupid, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. And then that interception when all they had to do was just hand it to Marshawn Lynch.
The Patriots, for as great as
they
are,
they
could be like, they could have lost a lot.
Well, see, they're 5-2 in their run, right? With Belichick and Brady.
Now, granted, the Giants.
They could be 3-4, but a good point has been made that the Giants also fucking pulled some miracles out of their asses. They could also be 7-0. So we like to keep it real here, but still, 28-3. Come on, man. I've heard of Patriot fans who turned it off, fell asleep, and then woke up the next day and felt.
Somebody
they
called
couldn't believe what they felt.
Was it Brian from Boston? Didn't he do
I
that?
think
Or
so.
Somebody,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, a couple shout-outs here. Peru, the national soccer team. Oh, my God, what a win yesterday. That's why you haven't heard Marco's punk-ass call in today, because Chile went 0-2 in the World Cup qualifiers for the South American countries. Chile was actually looking good going into these two qualifiers. They lost both games. Peru won both games. I don't think they had ever won in Ecuador, 10,000 feet elevation, but they won in there and won 2-1 with a 10-man team. So definitely a huge win for them. And also, I don't know if I mentioned it because I'm always talking trash, but Mater Dei, the high school I attended, defeated Bishop Gorman, who had not lost in 55 games. Since 2010, Bishop Gorman here in Las Vegas, Dana White's alma mater, Lorenzo Fertitta's alma mater, they had not lost a football game, and they were the 3-time defending national champions according to USA Today Sports. But they also hadn't played Mater Dei. So they go to Santa Ana Mater Dei and got socked right in the mouth. Little belly shot just to put them down, and Mater Dei got themselves a comfortable win. So congratulations to the Mater Dei Monarchs. Of course, USC had a scare against Western Michigan, but they were still able to rally with a double-digit lead. They didn't cover the spread, unfortunately, but what are you going to do? I'm so stoked, man. The Red Devils, they're 3-0. They haven't been scored on. You know, like, my teams are actually coming together. I'm really feeling like the Lakers can be a playoff team, maybe the 7th or 8th seed with the youth that they have, the second system under Coach Luke Walton, some new executives. And I'm saying it right now, I think the 49ers are going to be a lot better than people think. We have a coach who's very innovative. We don't have really the skill players just yet. That'll take some time developing, but the defense is pretty menacing, led by Reuben Foster, who I predict will be like a beast of a rookie, maybe a rookie of the year. Total wins is like 4.5 or something like that. I'm taking the over, man. I'm calling it right now. I think the 49ers might win the NFC West.
Dan, what are the symptoms of this fever that you have? Was one of them delusion? I don't know about that, George. My teams are looking pretty good. I'm a Redskin fan who they should have a pretty decent year. I'm a Dodgers fan. They should win the World Series. Okay?
Ooh, take it easy.
Hey, they should. All right, the Lakers.
Haven't they
they
lost 4 of their last 5 or something?
Yeah, but I mean
now's the time to get hot, not cold.
All right, but realistically, they should win. And then I'm a Manchester United fan. They're on a roll. Peru looked great. The U.S. is kind of stinking it up a little bit.
That goal.
That
goal, though, was key.
They're just not playing. They're not gelling.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to get into it. But, well, I thought it was a mistake to let Klinsmann go. I think it was the players being babies. I don't think it was him. And I think you could see that now. They're still not gelling. They were supposed to, right?
Yeah.
We just need to get rid of Klinsmann and everything will be all right. Sometimes you need someone to push you.
Yeah.
Quit being babies.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. All right, so Sammy the Squid's pool is a double elimination pool. So you are allowed to lose one time. I remember that being the case last year. It was fun. It went all the way to the wire. 2 guys wound up sharing it. But regardless, I wasn't one of them. How are you going to do it, though? You can't control it.
Why not? Do it.
How can you do it, though?
I did it in my eliminator. I just told them you can't do it.
But how do you stop them from talking?
Oh, yeah. If they're going to do it that way, then all right.
You just go, hey, let's both pick the same team. Yeah. Oh, shit, we won. Next week, let's both pick the same team.
Yay, we're all friends. Come on, man.
Yeah. I guess, I think.
Sting the other guy.
I try and meet them halfway and say, hey, at least one guy be 80% or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 80-20.
Yeah. Not this 50-50. Never met you, but now all of a sudden you're my buddy. So, this I will tweet out. There you go. On Instagram. No, I will do it on Facebook and Twitter. I'll tweet out information on Squid's pool. It's really, really fun. There's a little bit of trash talking you can do in there, and once you're in, then you're in future pools as well. And he does one for March Madness. He's done one for college football. It's actually really, really fun. Those asking about Beat the Squid, we're obviously gone this weekend, and this weekend is the first weekend of pro football. We're not doing anything this week, and next week we're on vacation. But we'll be back on the 21st, which is a Thursday. The 22nd, we'll have Squid in here. We're not sure if we're doing Beat the Squid. I feel like we may just have the Squid on. And who knows, maybe Goz and I in that board. We got to make use of that board. By then, we'll have a winner for the Triple G Canelo contest. So we can use that board to maybe make our picks and just have some fun the following Monday.
Okay.
All right, here's an announcement I'd like to make. If you're one of the people that calls in from now until the end of the show, and we're going to either give you a round or you're going to pick a round because there's not much left, you'll also be in the drawing for a free internet stream for this weekend's UFC 215, courtesy of Fight TV. So there you have it. I'd love to share one with somebody from Junkie Nation. All you got to do is call in, say what's up, talk about the fights that are coming up. I'll write your name down, and then we'll pick a winner.
How do we, we just draw names? Are we doing that by the end of the show, or
we'll
what?
Draw names. We'll figure it out, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's, it's 866-522-2846. Again, a free stream. This weekend you can watch Mighty Mouse and Ray Borg, Valentina Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes for free. What more do you want?
What do you want from us?
Doesn't get any better than that. Demetrius Mighty Johnson.
Is that really why? Because of the trademark?
There's a story there, and I haven't clicked it, but I have to have a feeling that that's it. All right, Brent from Oregon. What's up, Brent?
Hey, how you guys doing? Can I pick a round for the Canelo Triple G fight?
Yes, please do so. Oh, well, let me tell you what's left. I think it's easier if I just tell you what's left. Canelo round 1, 7, 11, or 12, or Triple G round 2, 3, 4. Also, you have the opportunity to bet the draw. Or to.
I will go with Canelo. Oh, sorry. I will go with Canelo round 7.
Canelo round 7 for Brent in Oregon. And Brent, later on, will be choosing somebody to watch the fights this weekend for free. UFC 215. So keep an eye out on my Twitter. At MMAjunkie George. Okay. I'll tweet out the winner, and we'll hook up, and we'll get you the code so that you can watch a fight. Now, it may not be you, it may be you, I don't know, depending on how many calls we get, but so far you're the first one since we've announced this contest like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. All
right, thanks. Bye-bye. Right.
Now, are you guys just going to sit back and let Brent have this, or are you going to participate? 866-522-2846. If no one calls in, Brent's watching for free. So it's up to you. And now we're down to just a few spots here with the Canelo and Triple G glove signed by both fighters. This is for the middleweight title of the world. Triple G has 4 of the titles. Don't quote me, but I think it's WBA, WBC, IBO, and IBF. And Canelo is the Ring Magazine world champion. So pretty close to as undisputed middleweight as you can be when these two fight. Pretty huge, man. And they're 2 of the biggest names. They're 2 of the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters out there. It's a great fight. I'm telling you, if you're on the fence on boxing and aren't sure, this is the type of fight that'll really, really make you a bigger fan, or at least bring you closer to combat sports in general. I don't think anybody just thinks MMA all day, because some of our funnest nights have been at Lion Fight.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a great time at the World Championships where it was just high-level wrestling, the best wrestlers in the world. I was at that event. You and I went to Glory Kickboxing. We talked about Nikki Holzgen And the time that he fought, he defended his title at the Hard Rock here in Las Vegas. Obviously, we've been to boxing events, and that's been a ton of fun. I mean, I still remember how boisterous that crowd was at the Mandalay Bay when Andre Ward knocked out Kovalev. And then do you remember Marquez and Pacquiao? How cool that was?
That was fun.
So these sports will also bring you a better appreciation of what the mixed martial arts are doing. Excuse me, the mixed martial artists are doing, because they're always trying to get better in all of the different martial arts and sports that encompass mixed martial arts. All right, let's talk to Dan in Oregon. What's up, Dan? How you doing? What's up, Dan? How you doing?
Man, can you hear me? You got me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Cool. Man, I love the interview with Luke Rockhold. I'd love to hear him spitting that venom. It is kind of weird. I love David Branch, too, but why are you in a barbershop with a beanie on? Man, you've got a really good point there. And I'm stoked for that fight, man. I don't know if people know this, but because of the Canelo and Triple G fight, it's supposed to be like an hour earlier or something. We should be able to just come off that main event and roll straight into the main event of Branch and Rockhold. Do you guys think the timing's going to work out?
Man, that's a good question. All right, that one is, let me pull it up. Sorry, let me pull it up. I want to give you an accurate answer here. UFC Fight Night 116 has 6 fights on the main card. They're going to budget 30 minutes for each card. So, yeah, Luke and David should be fighting around 9:30. By then, I believe the Canelo and Triple G fight will be over.
For that, man. That's such a good fight. I mean, there was nobody else to face Rockhold. Romero won't take 5 rounds. You just run up and down it. Everyone's jumping over to Bellator. David Branch is the only dude out there, and he's on like an 11-fight win streak. People should be more excited for this fight. And as far as DJ, man, what you guys think he's going to get the finish this time?
Good question.
Yeah, I think he could do it.
Borg's tough. If he does it, it'll happen late. Who was it that he submitted in round 5? Was it Hayes?
Horiguchi, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but it'll be late because Borg's tough, man. And Borg is. I just think he's pretty seasoned, not just as a UFC fighter. He's fought some tough fighters, but as an MMA fighter all around. So I think he's capable of getting it for sure. I just don't know that he'll get it right away.
He's got Brandon Gibson, so I'm looking forward to his striking. Just Demetrius is so well-rounded, man. I was watching his Twitch, and he's talking about some kid asked him, what's the worst shot to take in MMA? And he's like, body shots. And that just reminded me exactly of the Henry Cejudo fight, him just using the clinch, laying these into him. I'm super looking forward to that fight, but back to you guys. I'm out.
All right. Hey, Dan, I'm going to put you in the contest for a free stream for UFC 215, so pay attention to @MMAjunkie Radio on Twitter. We'll announce the winner.
Watching like always.
All right, see ya.
It was Horiguchi with 1 second left.
1 second left, yeah. Let's talk to Mike in Hollister, California. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Doing good. How's it going, guys?
Good, thank you.
Just wanted to call and tell you guys have a safe trip over to Virginia.
Thank you, buddy.
And then also if I could get in on that glove.
Okay, we got Canelo 1, 11 or 12. We got Triple G 2, 3, 4, and then we also have the draw available.
I'll take Canelo 12.
Canelo in round 12. Now remember, it has to end in 12. If it goes to a decision, somebody already has Canelo decision. But those 3 minutes are all yours, Mike. And I'm going to enter you in the contest for this free stream for UFC 215, headlined by Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg. So pay attention to @MMAjunkie Radio on Twitter. We'll announce it after the show.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Take care. Thank you. Nice talking to you as always.
Bye.
Can I hit that red marker over there?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Here you go. All right, let's take a break. You're listening to MMAjunkie Radio. We got about 15 minutes left here before we're out of here for the week, and we're out of here till the 21st. There's still more spots for this glove. Triple G and Canelo, signed boxing glove. They fight on the 16th. It's an HBO pay-per-view. You should check it out. Pay attention to the social media because we're going to give away, after the show, a free stream for UFC 215. And then later on social media, we'll give away another UFC 215 stream, courtesy again of Fight TV. So follow us on Twitter @MMAJunkieGeorge, @TheGoes, @DanTomMMA, at MMA Junkie Radio. Also, on social media, we're also going to give away a Canelo and Triple G 2 streams to that fight that comes up the following week. So, follow, bitches. We'll be right back.
Gorgeous George and Goes.
Here's some numbers that are coming out of the Mayweather-McGregor fight. The gross gate was $55,414,865 with 79 cents. The number of sold tickets was 13,094, and the number of complimentary tickets was 137. There were empty seats there, and that's because the T-Mobile can hold, depending on the configuration of it's a concert, it's combat sports, which obviously you now have floor seating, or hockey, like the Golden Knights will be starting up soon. I'm hearing anywhere between 18 and 20. So this does come up short a little bit. That's why the gate didn't break the record. But see, we were given some misleading numbers where we heard that the gate was already at the 72 million that Pacquiao and Mayweather had put up, and that's certainly not the case. I mean, this is 17,000 short, and then on Fight Night we heard that it got to 80 million, so that's 25 million short. It's a few thousand short of a sellout, but the one thing that is hanging tough is those pay-per-views, because whether you believe Dana White or Showtime, and they've gotten at least 4.5 million pay-per-views, which I think would just get past Pacquiao and Mayweather, who I believe came in at 4.4 million. Follow us on Twitter at MMAjunkie Radio, because in the next few days and next week we will give out 2 streams courtesy of Fight TV. The UFC announced Fight TV as a partner. You know the problems they've had with New Lion, and so they forged a relationship with Fight TV, Combat Sports Network, Fight.tv. I'm just calling them Fight TV, and Fight TV has allowed us to give away 2 streams. UFC 215, which we will give away to one of the callers here before the show's over. We'll do it via social media afterwards because we got to basically put the names in a hat and just draw a name, and we'll announce it on @MMAjunkie Radio on Twitter. And the way to get in is to obviously call in. And at the same time, we have a couple spots to fill on this glove here. The board is here. The glove is here. It's signed by Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. I think Big Ralph deserves a spot, doesn't he? He's a listener. He is a listener. Others got in through social media, and he's hosted junkies at his house. He's been to junkie gatherings, so I'm going to give him one.
Plus, it'd look cool in the man cave.
It would. Yeah, he has a man cave, so let's give him. What did he?
Let him pick. He just left.
Yeah, he left. Well, when he comes back, he can pick his round. Let's take a few more calls before we get out of here. Don Chow. What's up, Don Chow? How you doing?
Good, guys. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, man. Thank you. How about you?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. Hey, I have a question. Considering what had happened to John Jones, and most likely he won't be back, if Demetrius Johnson puts on a really good performance here, I mean, is it safe to say that he's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC, if not all of MMA?
In my eyes, I would say yeah for now. You know who doesn't really get talked about very much is Daniel Cormier. Really, if you erase...
He said if John is found to be guilty...
Yeah. So that kind of clears up a little bit of Daniel Cormier's history as well.
It does.
And Daniel's done a lot of crazy shit, too.
In 2 divisions. Career. And so is Demetrius. So, yeah, Cormier becomes part of that conversation. Demetrius Johnson, part of the conversation. One thing Demetrius has, though, is a ton of title defenses. A wiping out of a division entirely. I guess Cormier has beaten his fair share of cats as well, but that's one of those ones where you could sit around and drink beers and argue all day.
You could almost say he won a mini tournament too, right, Demetrius?
Oh yeah, he did. He won his own tournament as well. And then there's others out there that have just been stellar athletes over time. I don't know if you mean current or of all time. There'd probably be some other names as well.
Well, the reason I ask is because, I've not looked at his bank account, but something tells me that it's just not translating into dollars. He's not making McGregor money, probably not even Nate Diaz money. I mean, this guy is really fucking good. Is it almost too late for him in his career? I mean, to translate that to dollars, or is there anything that he can do? Because he just seems so under the radar for such a great athlete.
Okay, I think if Cody Garbrandt were to beat TJ Dillashaw and then beat maybe Dominic one more time, and maybe one other fighter. Just have a busy 2018. Maybe if he were to drop and fight Demetrius, and Demetrius winning another title, maybe if Cody were to ramp up some trash talk. I don't know, man. I know I'm reaching here, but that's the only way I see it is through a super fight versus another champion. Maybe even it would be more lucrative for Demetrius to go up, honestly. But yeah. All right, Don. We are going to include you as one of the names to be drawn for that free stream. And would you like a round for the Canelo and Triple G glove?
Yes, I would.
Which round would you like?
What do you? Canelo and shoot.
Well, all we have
Canelo
left for
draw.
Canelo is round 11. We have the draw available, and we have Triple G 2 through 4.
I'll take Canelo 11.
Canelo 11. It's all yours, Don. Thanks for the call. Take care. Beat it.
All right, thanks. You too.
Let's talk to Aaron from Texas. Aaron from Texas, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing, man?
Good.
Man, I honestly just wanted to call in just because I know it's going to be y'all's last show for almost 2 full weeks. So, I was talking with Danny when he was screening me. I'm like, man, what the hell is a junkie to do for 2 weeks? Man? I got to get my fix, man. I know what you guys are doing, and I respect the hell out of what you guys are doing. Going visiting the troops and taking some time off for yourselves, because I know how hard you guys work, especially you goes. Dan Tom, not so much.
Hey, speaking of Dan Tom, when we're gone, check out the Protect Your Neck podcast. Check out Jason Buckerer, a former intern. They got some podcasts going, so you'll still get a little bit of a junkie flavor.
Aaron, listen, I had to assign you a round. I did it earlier today because I hadn't heard from you since you talked. You got Canelo round 3, all right?
Perfect. That's awesome. That's what the wife wants. She wants Canelo to beat Triple G. So, I don't know, likely a possibility. I mean, I don't think it'll win round 3, but hey, stranger things happen in combative sport.
So,
we also included you in the drawing for a free stream. All right.
Congratulations.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Can I ask you guys one more question before I go off the air?
Sure.
Okay. Craziest thing happened this weekend. Would it be Demetrius Johnson losing to Ray Borg or Valentina Shevchenko choking out Manny Nunes? What do you guys think?
Demetrius Johnson losing to Ray Borg because Valentina showed her submission skills in her last fight against the good grappler.
The craziest thing that happened was that question. All right, let's go.
Let's go to Dean in Georgia. What's up, Dean?
Hey, I hope you guys have a safe trip. I was supposed to be in Virginia on Monday, but due to the storm that I'm going to be fighting, so I wish you guys a safe trip.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I was actually going to fly out that Monday on the 11th, but that got canceled. I have a question. In regards to will DJ break the record if Borg's missed weight?
Don't say it. You're gonna jinx it. You're gonna jinx it. If he it's not a title defense. No, if he misses weight, it's not a title defense. And if Demetrius Johnson misses weight, but Ray Borg makes it, Demetrius would not be eligible to. It wouldn't be a title defense for him that way, and Demetrius could lose his title. He may even get stripped. I don't know. That one's a tougher one because he's had such long tenure, but we've seen it in the past where if the champion doesn't make weight, the challenger can win the title, but the champion would get stripped. But if they didn't strip him, then it wouldn't be a title defense that way as well.
Yeah, I was just curious about that.
Okay.
And then I had another, you guys as reporters and stuff, do you guys go into the cards kind of like either like speculate in like some of your stories or storylines, like, oh, if so-and-so wins, and you kind of start like brainstorming or particular storylines?
For sure.
Yeah, we have to.
For sure. But I don't go too far ahead other than the next fight. Unless you guys want to have fun with a phone call and we say, in 2018, if he were to do this, then yeah. I think we did a lot with Kane and JDS back in the day. But for the most part, the sport is so crazy that you just, you're just dealt a new hand with every fight card. Whether it's the call-outs or it's controversy or
going up in weight, Conor McGregor, Demetrius Johnson, Tyron Woodley. These are all guys that have talked about going up and down. It makes it a nightmare.
Yeah. We got to let you go, Dean. Thanks for calling in. I'm entering your name in the contest for a free stream for UFC 215, so pay attention to @MMAjunkie Radio after the show on Twitter. You already have a spot on the glove, so nothing going on there. Last call, JD from the IE. What's up, JD?
Good day, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good. George goes, how you guys doing? I'm sure you're good. I'll make this really quick. I know it's the end of the show. First off, Triple G, round 4.
Triple G, round 4. That's all you. Okay. Triple G, round 4 for JD.
Definitely throw my name in on the stream for the stream giveaway. But really quick question, which I should know this because I bet a lot, but are there props anywhere for, like, fight of the night, on a card that gets determined, after the fight?
I don't think I've heard of that. Have you guys?
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. It wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't be able to bet.
It wouldn't be much, right? It wouldn't be much. If it exists, it's probably on one of the Costa Rican websites. They seem to offer everything.
The Undertaker win at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So you'd have to shop around there. But because you're a North American, I don't know that that's a legal option for you, JD. But I'm talking to the international audience. You are in the contest for the glove. You got round 4, Triple G, and then same thing going for the stream. Thank you for the call.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
I want to thank our guests today, Luke Rockhold and Charles Rosa. Also, Tuesday's guests, Tony Martin, Brad Tavares. Sorry again, folks, about the phones. Do what you can, you know what I mean? Keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the week. We will have a reporter up in Edmonton, Canada for UFC 215. And check out our social media, @DanTomMMA, @TheGoes, @Gorgeous, at MMA Junkie George, @MMA Junkie Radio. We'll be, tweeting and doing stuff while we're out there in Virginia at JBLE with Misha Tate, Kobe Covington, Paul Felder, and Stitch Duran. And at the same time, we got to give away some streams, starting with today. Thank you again for Fight TV for allowing us to happen. And I'll also tweet out information about Squid's Eliminator Pool. All right, I think I ran out of everything. Go out there and be champions.
If you see it once, you'll never be the same again. I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me